Bards? Bards, you there? Where you gone?
Are you retarded? What are you doing? You know he's not here.
I know, but that's how we open the show. Bards, and then we make a comment.
You know he's on holiday.
I know. So we've had to go and get the old mixing desk out in this dilapidated studio.
I can't believe the guy took holidays from his highly paid job here.
Who does that?
I don't know.
Clearly. He's having a rest pre-final.
He's not coming back.
You don't think so?
I won't have him back.
Hey,
he walked out on us.
Anyway, this is a bit like a hamburger with a lot. This is going to be the unedited show.
We got rid of the pickle. Thank God.
Excellent. Well, this is being recorded on Friday night. It's been a long, interesting week for both of us. Obviously, Bards has just been kicking back on a beach somewhere. And we better start with the traditional scores. So, Adam, you want to read those?
All right. Hawthorn 18-11, 119, belted Collingwood 12-12-84. Franklin 4, Smith 3, Gunston, Whitecross 2 each, singles to Rioli, Bruce, Hale, Puopolo, Hill, Roughhead and Lewis. Roughhead doing his best not to win the Coleman medal last week. Excellent
effort, wasn't it? Now, before the game, you and I had this discussion around this could be make or break time for Sewell, and guess who bobbed up and we're going to lock him in for the 5 Barslow votes, and then Bards has to find 4, 3, 2 and 1 after that.
I'm sure he'll fit Spanger, who didn't even play, in there somewhere. But no, Sewell was nothing short of brilliant and gave everybody a very timely reminder as to why he should be in any Hawthorn side selected coming into a finals campaign where you need tough bodies over the football.
As was Hodgie, as was Birchall, who came back this week too.
Birchall was good, but my understanding was that they delayed him a week or so he was pretty wound up coming into the game. He wasn't underdone in any way, shape or form.
Hey, it was a good game. You know, any game where you beat Collingwood and you start singing during the last quarter, na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey, goodbye is a great time.
Yeah, and it was a cracky game of footy. I thought there were a couple of unsung heroes for Hawthorn as well. I thought Heath Shaw was terrific, and Harry O'Brien and Quinton Lynch played their usual pathetic games.
Yep, you've got to love them. Thank you, Collingwood. Another great win. All right, so we're back now for Bards Blast. That's right, Bards is not here. That's the blast. Where are you, Bards?
I don't miss him, to be honest.
Don't
miss him at all. Lovely fella, great man, Bards, but I needed a break, quite frankly.
All right, well, what about where does whack?
Housey, I'm sick and tired of guys running around, and I've touched on this earlier, running around masquerading as AFL footballers, taking fat paychecks and providing absolutely no entertainment, output or anything substantive for the paying audience. Harry O'Brien and Quinton Lynch, I'm looking squarely at you two blokes. Harry, run around with the Dalai Lama all you like. Honestly, mate, get a kick first.
Beautiful. Great whack. Now, fair suck of the sav.
Yeah, fair suck of the sav, Housey. What do you got?
Copyright issue.
Now I know where you're going with this.
Now, that shank of what we thought was Heath Shaw and everyone around us thought was Heath Shaw that went straight in the hands of Buddy, and Buddy beautifully kicked it back through for a goal.
Yeah.
Sat on it for what, 5 minutes?
If that.
And then Shaw gets to redeem himself, doesn't he?
That's correct.
And he kicks out and he finds a Collingwood player in about the same place that Buddy was when he slotted down his, or we thought had slotted down his throat.
Correct.
And the call from me, impulsive, although you claim not, was that that's the Shawshank redemption.
Correct.
Now, you ring me up this morning, or you send me a text anyway, and
Yeah.
you say, Herald Sun's ripped you off. The Shaw flank redemption.
Page 84 in today's Herald Sun.
Ordinary. But
I
then,
agree.
fair suck of the sav of Herald Sun.
Very good, Housey. So this week's game, mate, from the back line.
Here's a bit of pressure from the back line. Backs, Stratton, Lake, Guerra. Halfbacks, Burgoyne, Gibson, Birchall. Centres, Smith, Hodge, Savage. Half forwards, Bruce, Franklin, Lewis. Forward line is Hale, Roughhead and Rioli. The ruck division is Bailey, Sewell and Mitchell. Interchanges Whitecross, Gunston, Anderson and Hill. The emergencies are Durea, Shields and Spanger. There you go, Bards. He's back. He might get a game. And therefore the ins are Guerra, Goo's back. Mrs. Wedlock will love that. And Anderson. Bards will love that. And I think that's a good call, don't you?
I think it is. I think that looks relatively close to what our final side will look like. Shields being an emergency is interesting. I'd like to see him given a game next week against Sydney, just to see where he's at. But that looks as good a side as we're going to be able to field coming into September.
Well, the other out's Piopolo with calf soreness.
Yeah, and look, he probably comes back in. It'll depend really on probably matchup and structure, and also who finds form at the right time. But pretty hard to displace any of those guys. If Anderson has a good game this week, then he might book himself a ticket.
Hey, it's a pretty solid back line, isn't it? You know, just before we recorded this, we said that's about as good as you're going to get for your back six. But thinking about it, there's two other blokes that could be in there quite easily if they didn't have knees, which would be Suckling and Schoenmakers. So it's not a bad position to be, is it? No,
not a bad position to be. The only thing I'd say about Schoenmakers is it probably makes us a bit top heavy. Who would fall out of that six for Schoenmakers and Suckling?
Spanger.
Is he in that back six?
No, he'd just fall out.
And take his Bardsley votes with him.
And what about, I mean, all round, that's a pretty good side. I mean, probably the two that you would start to question would be Anderson, Hill, but you're arguing for Hill's run. Yeah,
look, I am. I do have question marks over him coming into the finals and whether he'll be targeted by bigger-bodied opponents. That said, though, we do need some outside speed. Nice to see Savage getting a regular game and not coming on as a sub, because I think he offers something that perhaps Hill is 12 months away from, but probably a spot on the interchange bench for him. He's probably a good guy to have as a sub.
Yeah, look, the other one probably unlucky, but it is a development year for him, Durea, right? He has had a good year, but now we're getting down to the pointy end of the season. That's just what's going to happen to a first-year senior player, really.
I think you're right, and we're in a very fortunate position this year that we're actually coming into a finals campaign with pretty much all of our key personnel fit. Not too many guys coming back from significant injuries. You could you could say Birchall, but he looked pretty good last week. But it's going to be that case again of 26, 28 players into 22 just doesn't go.
All right, well, it's 2:10 tomorrow at Etihad Stadium, which means we don't have to worry about the wind or the rain. What do you reckon the margin's going to be, Adam?
I think it's just going to be one of those games that it probably won't rise to any great heights. North don't have a lot to play for. That said, they tend to give the Hawks trouble from time to time. 29 points, but I think it'll be a struggle for at least the first half.
Well, interestingly, I had in my mind 5 goals, so we're both on the mark. So that's it. We're going to not edit this one. This was a pretty clean, straightforward show. Don't have a crack at Bards again.
No. We miss you, big fella. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, be looking forward to the votes from last week and this week. And it's a case of Go Hawks!